Sellout, Hendry 209 points to 0 for a 2-frame lead. And as we join frame 3, O'Sullivan still hasn't potted a ball. Commentators Ray Edmonds and Woody Thorne. Thank you. One. Eight. Nine. Sixteen.
Well, that looks to be a near perfect shot. He's just nudged the red away and stopped for the pink. So Stephen really punishing Ronnie for those errors. And still in pretty good position. He's got a little more to do this time.
23.
Although I think the pink will go past the blue, so he can drop onto that. In actual fact, it might even clear things for him. So Stephen Hendry in full flow.
$24.
Just about has an angle, I think, to play down for the black. If he doesn't fancy the angle, he can go back up for pink or blue, but he's played for the black this time. And this is very early on in the best of 33 encounter, but this seriously is worrying times for Ronnie O'Sullivan. Until he gets on the table and gets his hand on the table and makes a 30 or 40 break, he could find himself struggling to win a frame at the moment.
$38.
He's not looked like potting a ball yet, but that's partly, obviously mainly due to the brilliance
39.
of Stephen Hendry's beginning in this third frame.
$44. $45.
Well, again, he split the reds pretty well, but it's this next positional shot, and he looks to have just about the ideal angle on the green to come for the red or the brown. So gets this one right. You could visualise another big break, because he couldn't ask for them to be placed much better.
49.
Yes, and we've just passed the 250 mark as far as Stephen Hendry scoring unreplied points.
50.
And I wonder whether we're going to get a record in that department. I remember once Hendry making 3 centuries and a 90 against me, and I never scored for about 600 points. Forget the exact total, but this is awesome.
Well, that just confirms the fact that Ronnie hasn't scored, but it's the next number that is beginning to look terribly ominous for Ronnie.
$58.
Well, Stephen Hendry has been looking as if he was going to find his best form, but I'm sure Ronnie O'Sullivan wasn't expecting quite the onslaught that he's getting at the moment.
And this one could go wrong actually, Ray, because he has to really get into the cue ball. I can suggest because the blue will go back onto the pink spot, he's going to have to be very, very careful here, but looks to have played a little bit betwixt and between as far as which red to play for, but once again getting very close to the winning post, only red and colour required. So I'd imagine that Stephen would possibly play a shot to nothing of some sort, either the red into baulk, but he feels though he can play this shot with the rest and not make cannon onto red or black, in which case he'll come nicely on black or blue. I mean, obviously he is confident at the moment, but that was another fantastic positional shot from Stephen Hendry. And now a chance for the second century break of the evening. It actually could and maybe should have been 3 century breaks. Quite clearly in the last frame we thought he was going to make a century. He broke down at 82. Let's see what happens here.
$78. $79.
Well, he's just a couple of inches out of position, but it could work out that he can just nudge the second red away and leave the other one on, and it may turn out to be perfect. It's not bad.
86.
Size, he desperately wanted to clear up, but we were all looking at the record books, but either way, a magnificent start from Stephen Hendry, carried on in that third frame. Ronnie O'Sullivan has never been at the races, 3-0.
Well, he's at the races, but so far he's a definite non-starter. In the frame 4 it hasn't changed, still no points, and Hendry's on a break of 30.
First error in what has been a flawless display from Stephen. Now, Again, Ronnie just left with a long pot. It's not the kind of pot that you want when you're struggling. But you heard the roar. Now, essential for Ronnie's self-confidence that he scores a few points here. He mustn't miss anything easy. If he breaks down because he runs out of position, that won't be so bad. But
8.
if he misses an easy pot, that's Stephen in again, then he really will be thinking about it and in
9.
deep trouble.
Yes, the points run came to an end at 325, and I'm sure at the Crucible that's possibly another record as far as the semi-final stage. And that wiped its feet, but thankfully he's knocked a red over the middle pocket. And Ronnie O'Sullivan in form, you would expect him to certainly get back into the frame, if not win it at this visit.
$70.
Ronnie a
22.
little unfortunate there. A full ball kiss would have finished perfect. No kiss, he would have been okay. But the half ball kiss, he's made this shot missable, but straight into the heart of the pocket.
23.
Unfortunately for him, wrong side of the blue. Can just screw back about 18 inches and play the long red, and then he'll be back in position.
$28. 29.
Well, this is the reason we alluded to in our commentary that Ronnie should have table time.
36.
He's some 7 or 8 inches away from being perfect here, and he would have probably had a better idea of the pace of the cushions should he had that table time in frames 2 and 3. This is a tough pot.
47.
Oh, tough for most people. Great shot.
$44.
Well, he's just a fraction short of being ideal.
45. Not, gentlemen, were they're of the table. Thank you.
There's
51.
John Williams just asking the crowd to get not too enthusiastic, but it is understandable to an extent that
52.
they desperately want to see the best of Ronnie O'Sullivan. They want to see him open his account. And they don't appreciate that he doesn't like the encouragement. But now just
58.
a couple of shots away, a red and a colour. There you see it. And that means that Ronnie will enjoy his mid-session cup of tea slightly more than looked likely a few minutes ago.
59.
And should he go on to win this frame at this visit, what a way to open his account. He was almost like a rabbit in headlights at 3-0 behind. He didn't know what had hit him. As you rightly say, the interval will go quite nicely. And look at that for a positional shot. That shows how important table time is, just to get the pace. Well, this has been a 4 frames of snooker that, to die for almost. I'm sure people in the audience have just never seen anything like this.
$69. 71. 74. 78.
Just in the 43rd minute of this match, the fourth frame virtually over. Can only describe the snooker as breathtaking. Stephen Hendry, absolutely brilliant. But Ronnie O'Sullivan back on the comeback trail. 3 frames to 1 though. Stephen Hendry leads.
Stopped all the conjecture about what's the record for unanswered points and to stop you arguing at home. Stephen Hendry holds it, would you believe, 487 points to 0 against Jimmy White in the Masters in London a few years back. Anyway, that's immaterial. As we go into frame 5, Hendry is back in command with that lead of 37 points to 8 and 3-1.
One. Seven.
I think Ronnie perhaps has finished in. He wanted to get one of the 3 reds, I think, to try and get on the black, but I think the red above the pink maybe is the only one. Oh, can he get between them? He can. Perfectly. So the black is in play now, or the pink.
Yes, the pink would avail better position, but it's slightly more difficult. And the reason it would avail better position is just that shot just there. Now has a straightforward opportunity to get the black back onto its spot.
40.
Now, with the red being in baulk, it's unlikely that Ronnie's going to play 5 reds and 5 blacks. And what it means now, with any other colour blue or below, it means that Ronnie O'Sullivan will need the green. And that just shows you how important that shot was
22.
from Stephen Hendry. He'll be 25 in front on the yellow with all blacks.
23.
So consequently, if it doesn't get to that kind of situation, the green will be needed.
$29. 30.
Or you either play to move the red or play for the red up near the brown. Just depends on how he sees the shot. He's played the cannon. It's gone too far.
37.
Himself a chance of taking this frame now.
I just wonder whether Ronnie's going to look at the scoreboard and see whether he needs the black off this red. The angle he has now, he can't get that. He's just looking at the scoreboard now. He knows that when he's done his little maths here that he cannot get on the black from here, so he's forced into possibly playing for the brown. What a tremendous red previously potted to get onto the black. Well, there's an angle there with a lot of running side if he wants to risk it. Now the green's going to be the problem.
$48.
Great shot. He looked for the angle, found it. And one good pot on the green to this corner. Well, has he covered it?
Ronnie O'Sullivan,
I
50.
think he might have just covered the path for the green, although Stephen Hamlin, well, there you see it down the line now, and it's not beyond the realms of possibility that Stephen can just bend this and finish on the brown.
So surprised the pace that Ronnie played that green. If he'd have stunned it in just normal weight, Ronnie O'Sullivan couldn't have missed the green by chance. As you say, Ray, that could be very, very important in this match. We're about to talk about the credit of O'Sullivan to come back from 3-0 behind without scoring some points for 325 shots, and then all of a sudden, from what looks a certainty 3-2, it's now odds on
7.
it's going to be 4-1.
$12. 18.
Stephen Hendry thought he'd lost. This young man played 2 marvellous shots to give himself a chance to win it. He didn't. Stephen now leads by 4 frames to 1.
And 25 minutes to 5-1, 90 points to 40, a break of 37 by the 6 times champion. And O'Sullivan still making bad mistakes, like here in frame 7 when leading 46-25.
Oh dear. That could be very dangerous, especially if Stephen can get angle on brown or green to play the cannon into these 2 reds. Not too sure whether he can just run through off the cushion. May have to cannon into the brown to hold the cue ball. He's obviously never had any sort of angle there. He's going to need a good positional shot here though.
Fine.
So 2 very serious mistakes from O'Sullivan has not cost him this frame, so this will give him a little bit of encouragement, I'm sure, especially if he can win this frame. He knows that Stephen's had 2 really good chances now to get back into this frame.
Stephen going off the right hand side of this red. He's got to get the very thin contact, and then he's got every chance of getting it behind green and brown. Hit it slightly thick. That's taken the pace out of it. Needed to be thinner, and this is, well, in normal circumstances, a good chance for Ronnie O'Sullivan. They're the kind that you really do expect him to knock in, and he's got away with leaving Stephen about 4 chances. Surely this one is too good to miss.
One. Eight. Nine.
He's not really been with it this evening so far. Quickest snooker brain on the circuit, but
12.
I think he's made one of 2 errors of judgment this evening at vital times, certainly since the interval.
40.
Didn't have much say in the first 4 frames, although he managed to pinch one. For 3.5 of them he was kept off the table.
70.
Yes, this is frame 7. As you rightly say, the first 3 frames no chance, but was favourite at one time or another in all the next 4 frames. So it looks like he's going to go 6-1 behind, and could have quite easily have been 4-3 in front.
$26.
So a very scrappy frame again, and again it's Stephen Hendry who takes it, and he leads by 6 frames to 1.
With 1 to play tonight, I know it's the best of 33. It's been an early nightmare for Ronnie O'Sullivan. Here's Hendry, nothing scored yet in the final frame of the night.
One. One. Eight. Nine.
Well, he's in trouble here, especially if he's dead straight. He can punch it round 2 cushions. Now he needs a kiss, and he needed full ball, and he hasn't got it.
16.
Looks though the one nearest the black may be available, and that would certainly get him back in control with just enough room, look.
70.
Good shot here, cannon onto the two reds that are virtually touching to the right of the black, and this would become a very good chance. I'm sure I didn't play the kiss like that, but it's turned out nice.
24. 25. 32. 33. 40. 41.
Lovely close control just at the moment, and now still the perfect angle to come back behind the red for the same corner. And this is the kind of break that Ronnie needs to
48.
restore his confidence, and if he can go on and win the frame here, and it's not straightforward, there's a couple of reds available, but he's got a bit more to do than that. But if he can, and he can do it in style, then at least
49.
he can leave this opening session feeling that he's within hailing distance. And well,
Sullivan, 49.
of all the shots you expect him to miss, not that one really. Again, dreadful lapse of concentration or whatever.
Yeah, I think he was very disappointed, purely because he knew that he didn't want to pot the pink, because when the pink went back onto its own spot, it was covering the red to the left of the three reds near this pink spot, which was available, and I think he just got so frustrated that he couldn't get onto the black, that he just got down and played it so nonchalantly. And we all know that when Ronnie gets like that, he loses a lot of frames when he should win them. And quite clearly again, we've talked about the first three frames which Hendry was unbeatable, but the remaining five, O'Sullivan has now had chances in every one, and very, very good chances.
9.
Very, very unfortunate, but there is a red
16.
available into the yellow pocket,
Touching ball.
and because there's a few behind, he's very unlucky there not to get onto a red. I think he may be forced into playing this pot into the corner pocket. If he gets it, it's a frame winning chance.
Stephen Hendry, 16.
Well, he's been queuing so well, but there was a little bit of pressure on that one, and you expect him to knock them in, but not easy. But it could be costly, surely.
Don't blame him at all for going for the pot, but why not play the stun run through to play for baulk colour rather than risk everything for pink or blue? Really did put a lot of pressure on himself there. And you saw a little wry smile when he walked back to the table. He knows it was his worst choice of the evening, but he'll be pleased at 6-2. He would have took 6-2 before they went out this evening.
Doesn't really affect
7.
Ronnie this, as long as he can get through to that red. He just spotted a bit of dirt on the red that he wants to take on, but he needs the two loose reds and two colours, and then he wouldn't need the awkward red near the pink or the one in on the baulk cushion.
Eight.
So Ronnie O'Sullivan
15.
looks as if he's going to take this final frame.
16.
Well, I suppose after the first three, as we keep mentioning,
23.
it looked as if disaster could be staring him in the face, but again, well, it hasn't affected the result. Ronnie O'Sullivan takes the final frame of the session, but it's Stephen Hendry, particularly impressive in the early part, who leads by 6 frames to 2 overnight.
Well, afternoon, part 2 of the scheduled 4-part semi-final drama, 1st to 17. William Hill's changing their odds yet again after tonight's display. Higgins is eased again to 6 to 4. Hendry closing in more than a point to 15 to 8. Williams closing O'Sullivan out as the 10 to 1 outsider for the title.
They've both been telling me what playing in and winning this championship would mean to them.
When you go to a tournament, you feel every tournament is yours. You know, nobody else should win it, and that's, you know, I think that's probably been a lot of my success down the years, is because I hate losing so much, and I hate to see other people winning, and that's driven me on to keep winning it. But you know, I've obviously now I've gone 3 years and I'm not champion for 3 years, so you sort of you get used to it a little bit, but it still hurts. Every time you come here, you've got to be hugely determined to win it. I feel I'm a lot happier, obviously, with my game now than I was at the beginning of the season, so that has given me a huge boost and given me a lot of confidence for the tournament. You know, I actually feel that I can come here and have a chance of winning it. You know, if you'd asked me that when I lost 9-0 in November, you know, I wouldn't have even considered winning the World Championship, but now, you know, I feel I'm one of the contenders. People are, you know, coming up to me and say, when are you going to start winning again, and what's wrong, and, you know, you know, are you going to give up, and have you lost, you know, the desire, and, you know, it's nice that people are you know, take time out that they care that you're not playing so well, but it's I haven't lost the desire at all. You know, I want to get back up there.
I feel like I want to be here, which for the last few years and for most of for a lot of the tournaments, I haven't actually been there and wanting to win. Really, I've just been there and just been going through a lot of emotions. So I think a lot of it has got to do with what sort of frame of mind you're going into a tournament, whether your practice form is good or not. If your mind is on the job, then I think you've got more chance of doing well than if you was flying in practice. It's, you know, it's finding the right balance. You set yourself goals and you set yourself ambitions, and when you don't achieve them, you feel like you haven't achieved anything. And really, if I looked at what I've won in the game, I couldn't really actually tell you what I've won, but I know I've won quite a bit, and you know, that in itself is quite an achievement, but I know that I should have deep down probably done more, and I haven't, so I might feel like I've underachieved and haven't got the best out of myself. So in some ways I'm hitting myself over the head sometimes with Hannah, saying, you know, I'm a failure. Well, actually I'm not really a failure, but I just haven't achieved what I believe I should have achieved. But there's only one person to blame for that, and that's myself.